here, okay, Stacye? There's a lot to uncover when it comes to how incredible you are and what you do. Guys, she made $240,000 in deposits in 2023. I like stats. I like strategy. We're going to dive into that first, okay? You've got 2 kids, an incredible husband. I don't like saying the word kids, but here's the crazy thing is when it comes to strategy, you did 800 presentations last year, yielded return on investment of $240,000. You spent $10,000 on leads. You were using bots and then also Facebook leads with Adam Meyer, you know. So talk to us about this strategy. 800 presentations, that's 16 presentations per week if you took 2 weeks off of vacation in 2023. Talk to us about your strategy.
Called more. I put a lot more effort into it. I worked a lot more. I got up earlier, did my back office earlier. That way I can start literally at 8 and be at somebody's house. And so that's kind of how that works. My op leads are going to be my platinum memorials. And so those are going to be the leads that I'm going to do in the afternoon. And then my Facebook leads are normally, those are going to be people that are a little bit older because they're going to promote the, you know, no questions asked, you know, no, we're not going to ask them anything. And they pretty much are guaranteed people, not all of them, but they're going to be older. And so those are the people that I'm going to go see during the morning time. And so that's kind of how my schedule works. And that's what I did. I just put a lot more effort into it. I worked a little bit harder for those weeks that I'm off on vacation. And then I give myself about 30 minutes to really look at my back office and see what's going on and check things. I check my persistency. I check all of that with all the carriers. And then from there, I start making my phone calls. If I don't have any appointments, if I have appointments and I'm out the door by 8 o'clock. We have a call at 8 o'clock, and so I'm on my call in my car, heading to my first appointment. But if not, I'm working on I'm looking at everything, and I'm making sure that whatever's falling off the books, I need to put them back on the schedule.
Shows that in the morning from, you know, right after you get out of, you know, Brian Celestine's call, you are, bam, you're going to that first door. Those are typically for Facebook leads. So from 8 a.m. Or 8:30 a.m. to about maybe, you said noon or 1:30-ish. Before you take that little break, you are hitting it with your Facebook leads because those folks are older, you know that they're home. And bam, then you have that strategy that right after lunch, you're like, hey, listen, boom, bada bing, let's go hit those platinums because those folks might be a little bit younger. So, you know, the 50s, 60s, so they're probably coming off of work. So you have a background in nursing. And I kind of want to just backtrack just a wee bit because you have an incredible strategy. Love the schedule that you have. You're very disciplined in that, which kind of, when I was asking, what's something really unique about yourself? And you said, listen, I like collecting nutcrackers. And when we were at the Omni Grove Park Inn, you were showing me this phenomenal, cute little, like, great little nutcracker. And I'm like, this is awesome. She's like, actually, I have like hundreds. I'm like, that's awesome. But you're a super duper big clean freak. And just like me, dude, it's like, I have to have my kitchen clean every day. If that kitchen is not clean, it's like everything else in the house isn't clean. So I love that unique fact about you, but you're extremely disciplined. You've got that background in nursing. So it's almost like that discipline, but then you also have that nurturing side to serve and wanting to take care of people. But I can tell you this, you could be that person, but when you're in the wrong platform, when you're in the wrong environment where those qualities, those characteristics aren't able to thrive, tell us a little bit about what happens because you were actually at a previous IMO, another insurance brokerage before NASB. Talk to us about that.
Oh my God, okay. So it's literally like day and night. So the previous IMO I was at, you guys don't understand how how blessed we are to be with this company. When I tell you that, I'm talking like they would monitor our phone calls. We had to make our phone calls through an app. And then I've got them on my case about you're only at 189 calls. And we had to be in the office. We're 1099. I can work from home, but they required us, even though we're 1099, to be in the office like 5 times more than an hour and a half because they would monitor where I was because of the app. That's what I went off of. They would take my leads away. So they were giving us leads. So say if they gave us 200 leads, and if I was in the house a little bit longer than I was supposed to be, I would come back in my car and I had 100 leads that were gone. And that was my punishment. So if I had exhausted that first 100 leads, I had no way of making money because we could not buy leads anywhere else.
Interesting. So And again, my goal here is never to knock another insurance brokerage. The goal here is to learn. And there's some people that thrive off that. There's some people that thrive off of that kind of tyranny, if we want to call it that. But I think the reason why I mentioned that first is because, fast forward, you were nominated in 2022 as Female Agent of the Year, and you didn't make it.
Right.
2023, you hit it. Female Agent of the Year. I remember giving you the award just this past year.
Yeah.
You say cruise ship, which is you.
I want them to know that I'm here to serve them. I'm here to protect them. When their worst day possible comes, I'm there no matter what. And so I put them first. I'm here all the time for them. And it's literally about serving. I'm not selling anything. That's the other thing we've got to understand. What drives us is you can't sell something and really just go in and wham, bam, I'm done. You have to serve these people. And that's what I'm trying to do. I kind of want to change the way the world is looking at insurance agents as more of a service kind of agent, a servant person instead of a
where you came from. You don't let that be your label. You don't let that be your identity as far as the previous IMO that you were at, but you learned what you didn't want out of a career, and then you were able to shine here. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about mom guilt, dad guilt, okay? Anybody that's on here that says, gosh, I've got so much on my plate, but then sometimes you just feel like, man, I'm just not enough.
And the women. When with your family, you have to completely disconnect. I mean, like, phone down. Worst case, you're with your family. Your husband knows where you are. Put that sucker on airplane mode. That way you don't get any kind of technology, interruptions at all. Put it down and be in the moment. Like, just listen to them, because I'm telling you, it was like yesterday, my kids were like 5 and 9, and they're 19 and 23. I've got one graduating college on Thursday, and I've got one that is going as a sophomore year in college. The time goes by so fast, and you have to be able to disconnect mentally for yourself. But when you're with your kids, you have to listen to them. I was looking at something, and it was a Harvard, Carrie Tennant. She said something about like active listening is a fundamental aspect of professional interaction. It's all those same things. Also the same thing when it comes to family. I need to hear what they're saying. I need to know where their mental space is. Mom is not there all the time. And if you're just listening to them, Ashley, they're going to tell you things that you're not going to listen to while you're just walking around talking to them. They're going to pour their heart out to you. And sometimes you need to hear where your kids' minds are, what they're thinking, because it matters. And so I completely disconnect.
Absolutely.
The other thing you can do, put it on your schedule. Write it on your schedule every day, 2 hours here and there. Disconnect. That way you have to do it if you're following.
So let's talk about this, upgrading your perspective when it comes to follow up and follow through. It's not what we write that matters, it's what we keep that matters. So let's talk about your relationship with the follow up and the follow through after you've already made a sale. Talk to us about that.
So there's a couple of things that I can do. Sometimes what we do is we can push the payment up to 30 days, right? Well, that's a part of my placement. And so what I do is I make sure I put a calendar, like I put it in my calendar here that I need to call Mrs. White or whoever. Hey, remember in 3 days or in a week, you're going to have that payment coming through. And then after that, I call them back 2 weeks later. Hey, Mrs. White, did you get your policy? Let's go over it. And usually, Ashley, if I'm here in the city or if they're close by, I'm going to go over there with them and go over that policy with them, because I want them to see this is day one coverage. This is where you're at. Because let's face it, when these people get these policies, they take them and they just put them up. They don't read them. I need them to read them, because once they read the policy, that trust is a little bit more, it gets a little bit, more in depth with me. And so I do that with them. And then I just follow up with them every 6 months, make sure they're okay. People move, people want to change beneficiaries, people die. So I always just follow up and just say, hey, remember Stacye? I also send out Christmas cards. I send out birthday cards, all kind of things like that. The other thing I do is I've got a magnet that I put on their refrigerator, and it says who their coverage is with. It does not say the amount. It says the coverage. It's got the policy number and the company, and then it's got my name and my number. And then the other thing is, when I have all of my business cards are basically magnets. Excellent. So I put them on the magnets because it stays on the refrigerator. Everybody can go right to the refrigerator, but we can't just go and sell a policy and then just leave them and walk away. That's what the typical agent does. We're servants. That's not what we're going to do. So once you do that, you follow up with them. And 9 times out of 10, when you follow up with them, they're going to refer you to their family. They're going to actually say, hey, Stacye, I actually need more coverage now. I mean, you're going to get a lot more out of that. And then you become a family member. So you're following through with what you're trying to do by changing the impression, the way the world looks at insurance agents.
So we have a lot of new agents that are launching. What could you tell yourself, or what would you do differently if you could restart with NASB? What would you do differently? What would you tell that brand new agent, or maybe that struggling agent right now that's feeling complacent and feels like, man, I know I need to up my game. I know I need to up my activity, increase that input. What would you tell that person?
To invest in yourself. Big time. You can find, a lot of people will say, well, I don't have the money. Yeah, you have the money. Stop eating this, stop doing that. Invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. It's like you're taking a gamble on yourself. If you're not going to invest in yourself and bet on yourself, who else is going to do it? And the other thing is, Ashley, I had no plan B. I could go back to nursing, but I did not do that. I came in full-fledged. I had no other way. It was one of those things where when my first IMO was a bunch of men, and they were younger than me. And so I had this, it's like I was so headstrong. I was going to beat every single one of them, and I did. I still have my trophy from my first IMO as Agent of the Year. You've got to have the passion. And the other thing is, take some time to study your carriers. Know your carriers, because when you walk into that house, you want to be able to say, oh, you've got this, oh, you've got that. I know exactly who I'm going to put you with, but let me call my manager and confirm. The worst thing is to go into a house and not know who your carriers accept or anything like that. You've got to study your carriers, build a relationship with your upline, use your upline. I didn't. I tried to just do it on my own because I'm like, I'm a big girl. I've got this, and this. No, use your upline, call them. I mean, don't abuse it, but call them when you have a question and lean and depend on them. And then the other thing is, take a notepad with you everywhere you go. One thing I do when I go into a house and I don't make a sale, I come back to my car and I write down, literally, I'm sitting in the car writing down, what do I think I did wrong? Did I talk too much? Did I not offer this? Did I go with the wrong company? Did I not call my IMO? Did I not prepare them correctly on the phone call when I first did my preliminary call? And I do that way I can learn for the next one and next one.
Patrick Beck David just saying, do you have the courage to be wrong? And when you have the courage to be wrong, it really just sets the tone for humility. Dude, guys, I don't know about y'all, but I'm seriously so fired up. I cannot stop taking notes. Stacye, I know I'm going to be seeing you in Texas here in just a couple of days at y'all's boot camp. Fired up for that. Y'all, seriously, follow Stacye on social media. She has got some great things going on. Thank you so much for blessing us today.